So thank you so much for those of you who have watched part 1 of what to do in Exuma. For those who haven't, this is part 2 of what to do in Exuma. Long story short, my sister and I made our first YouTube video on travel tips, and we realized that, you know, upon editing, it's a little bit long. It was like half an hour. We tried to get everything out. So we decided let's split the video into 2. The first half is more so about things to do and see in Exuma. I really think it's worth seeing if you're wanting to go. This one is going to be more about logistics, you know, money management, money exchange, taxis, and all that, a little bit more of the boring stuff. But anyway, definitely very useful. So again, thank you so much for those who've watched. For those who haven't, welcome. We're Sisters of Bulgaria. We're trying to start a YouTube channel here with travel tips, beauty tips, and all of that. So welcome, and let's just jump into it. Should I rent a car or should I just do taxis? Now, it's a personal choice, but in my opinion, you don't need to rent a car. I usually like to rent a car when I go to these types, you know, to different countries, because I want to see as much as possible. But in Exuma, again, pretty small island, and the main things you want to see, you have to do with tours anyway, or with like a boat. It's mostly a boating experience and a beach experience. So I wouldn't waste my money on a rent-a-car. I would just take a taxi. The only thing really to see, aside from these beautiful experiences that I talked about, is the town center, which I think if you go once, it's probably gonna be enough, and go get a couple souvenirs and then go back to the resort or wherever you're staying. So when it comes to prices of taxis, I would say they're pretty comparable to US prices. As a matter of fact, to New York prices. I'm from New York, and I found the taxis to be, you know, pretty, I think they were expensive. But like I said, people have to make a living, so all the power to them, nothing wrong with it. But do keep in mind, I don't think you're going to be taking too many taxis. I really think you're going to be focusing on tours and the beach. But do keep that in mind if you are debating a rent-a-car or taxis. Again, basically a recap, there's not too much to drive around and see with the rent-a-car, in my opinion. However, everyone's different, and if you do want to go and explore and you're one of those people that really wants to see everything, maybe then go for a rent-a-car, because taxis can get a little bit pricey. Now, if you are going to rent a car, it feels very safe. The driving it's very laid back. It's very calm. I don't think you're going to have any issues when it comes to driving if you choose to rent a car. So I think that's as far as it goes with the car experience. But I think taxis would be enough. It really depends on what you want to do. All right, next to discuss here, currency and money and where to exchange your money and all that. So I highly recommend exchanging in the US. That's what we did. However, so if you're in the resort, if you were in an all-inclusive resort, everything is pretty much paid for. I didn't think we had too much. We kind of bought a couple of souvenirs and something like things like that. Otherwise, there wasn't too much to spend on. But when we did go to the souvenir shops outside of the town, it's cash only. So make sure you do have some cash on you. That's always important no matter where you go. I always like to exchange in the US. Their currency are Bahamian dollars, and one Bahamian dollar is one US dollar. So like I said, the currency is the same. You're not going to get away with, having a strong currency, the dollar being strong, and you get more bang for your buck. It's the same thing. The prices again are pretty much, let's say I would compare them to New York prices. Now, once you land, what the airport looks like. It's basically a very, 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 very small little airport. They do check they ask you what you're bringing in. If you have a drone, you're going to have to declare that. We had a drone and we weren't aware. We didn't really do our research. This is something that we should have done. But basically, I think we ended up having to pay a certain amount of money as like a cap. And then when we were on the way out, we just we take the drone back out with us and they give us our money back. I think it's just so that we don't sell it there without paying taxes and stuff like that. So I think that's what it was about. You can bring a drone, just you're going to have to put a cap down when you get to the airport. The next thing is, what else is there to say about the airport? Everything ran smoothly. You get your luggage very quickly because it's a small airport, and everything's pretty smooth sailing there. Nothing to worry about. From the airport to your hotel. Now, we booked sandals. Now, I'm not in any way advertising sandals. I'm not sponsored or I don't even know how those things work. I wish I did, but I don't. Anyway, so we stayed at Sandals and they had the ride from the airport to the hotel included. I really recommend that if you guys are going to do a hotel, make sure that you try to find a hotel that has it included because those things add up, the car rides. If you're doing an Airbnb, obviously you're going to pay for it yourself, where you can do a taxi. Otherwise, I wouldn't really recommend it there. I don't even know if there's a bus transportation. I wouldn't recommend. I would say either have it included in your hotel or go ahead and get a taxi. The ride is not long. I think the ride was like 20 minutes or so. Not much more than that. Now, in terms of COVID, you have to really check. I don't like to discuss COVID too much because it changes very quickly. So by the time you guys watch this video, who knows, you could be watching this video 5 years later or a month later and everything could have changed. But last I checked, you needed to have either a PCR test, negative PCR test, no antigen, has to be PCR, it was PCR or a vaccine. So that was the last time I checked. You also need to fill out this government form, but make sure you do your research in advance. There are restrictions to the Bahamas at this time, so just double check that before booking your trip. So next thing I want to touch upon briefly are the locals. And the reason I want to mention it is because they are absolutely lovely people. You can expect them to help you. You really do feel that they appreciate tourism and the tourists and the money that the tourists bring. They love their island. So if you are looking for information on whether it's a safe country to go to, absolutely. One of the safest countries I have ever gone to. I went for night walks by myself. And I wasn't worried about it at all. Everyone is very friendly, very kind, willing to help you. So that's as far as it goes in terms of safety. Nothing to worry about there. All right, guys, so that's pretty much everything I have to say about Exuma, Bahamas. I genuinely hope this was helpful. If you enjoyed it, we would love it if you click the subscribe button. Again, I don't exactly know how these things work. We're new to this. It's a new channel, but I'm going to be making videos about all of our travels with travel information, and hopefully as time goes by, I'm going to get better and better at this. I'm sorry if it doesn't look as professional as I would love it to, but with time, I think I'm going to master it. But subscribe, like, and hopefully we'll see you soon in our next video, and love to see you there.